everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel if you're new here. So today's case is a very recent missing persons case. As you guys may know, if you've been following my channel for a while, I really like to cover missing persons cases of people who haven't gotten a lot of media attention because I feel like this is the best way to bring them home to their families. I'm also going to start covering cases that you guys request. So I've had a few requests in the comments of cases that you guys want to see me do, and these are more solved cases or, past cases, not current cases that I usually cover. So I'll be getting to those very soon, as well as part 3 of the Kathleen Folbig series. I know it's taken a while for me to finish it, but I feel like these cases that are very current of missing people take priority because, it's so crucial that we find them and find them in a timely manner. With all of that being said, let's just get into the usual disclaimer. So I'm reporting on very public information that anyone has access to. All of the opinions stated are mine unless I say otherwise, and all of my sources that I use are listed down below. Now let's get into it. Leila Cavett is 21 years old and is living in Dawsonville, Georgia with her 2-year-old son, Camden. Now, as you guys know, I like to give you guys as much background as possible on the victim so that we can get to know them and bring awareness to their story and give them a voice. But unfortunately with Layla, I really couldn't find much about her past or her upbringing or, what she was like, what she enjoyed doing in school. Those are the kind of details that I really like to include, but unfortunately I couldn't find them. All the background that I really could find on Layla was that she currently works at Dunkin' Donuts, and also for extra money, she sells a lot of different furniture and clothing and electronics on Facebook Marketplace, and that she also didn't have a place of her own at the time of her disappearance and is currently living with a friend. Some additional background that I was also able to get on Layla was that she grew up in Jasper, Alabama, and actually currently most of her family lives there except for her grandmother, Robin Jenkins. Her grandmother actually lives in Dawsonville where she lives, and she actually used to live with her. However, in February of this year, she was kicked out of her grandma's house, and she actually called the police on her and filed a police report because she was allegedly using in her house. Also, in September of 2019, Layla was arrested on drug charges, and we are not sure, it hasn't been released if this case has been settled or not, but this is a little bit troubling because it does kind of hint at a past of potential addiction, and this could lead to her disappearance, although there has been no confirmation from law enforcement. Unfortunately, that isn't the only trouble that she's faced in her life, and she actually got 2 traffic tickets in October of last year as well, so the same year she was arrested on drug charges, and she had a court date in February of this year, but she failed to appear, so in March her driver's license was revoked. So in the days leading to her disappearance, her last known contact with her family was on July 17th, which they can confirm it was her because it was a FaceTime. After that, her last text to her family was on July 23rd, and she actually had contact with her grandmother on July 26th, which was the last contact whatsoever with them. However, this was just a thumbs up in the Facebook Messenger app, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but on some phones you don't even have to unlock it to send the thumbs up, so this will become a point of contention later on. Besides those text messages, there's very little known about what Layla did the days before she disappeared. All we know is that she went down to Florida in the middle of the night and that her parents were not able to contact her after that. Her family has said since that they believe she was talking to someone online and that he was sending her money and that he asked her to come down to Florida to see him. However, Layla's family had no idea she was going to make this trip and had no idea there was anything wrong until July 26th of this year, when a 2-year-old boy was seen wandering around in Miramar, Florida at the Edge Apartments. It was at around 8 a.m. that he was spotted just wearing a t-shirt and had on a dirty diaper, which meant that he had had it on for quite a while. Ebony Williams, who was staying in this apartment building with a friend at the time, was the one who first spotted this 2-year-old boy. She noticed him because he was crying and wandering around by himself, and so she was concerned because she didn't see any adults with him. She then asked him where his mother was, and he didn't speak yet. He just kind of spoke gibberish and pointed around frantically everywhere. So in an effort to hopefully locate his family, she went door to door in the apartment complex and asked anyone if they knew him or if they were his parents. However, However, no one in the apartment complex could identify him, so Ebony called the police and they actually ended up taking him in and taking photos of him and putting them all over social media in an effort to hopefully locate his family, and this ended up being successful. The next day, Layla's family actually saw these photos and identified the boy as 2-year-old Camden Cavett. So now I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background on Camden and his situation so you kind of understand it better. So 35-year-old Daniel Lee West came forward to police after Camden's photo was released, and he claims to be his father. He says that him and Layla were never in any kind of romantic relationship. However, they met once 2 years ago when Layla was in a relationship with Levi Arnold, and they hooked up, and Camden was subsequently conceived from this. And he says that they don't really have any kind of relationship. However, he is very involved in his son's life, and he says that him and Layla have a great relationship for the sake of their son. So now Levi Arnold, who was dating Layla at the time that she hooked up with West and also at the time that she had Camden, he's named on Camden's birth certificate as his father. However, he is not the biological father, and after him and Layla broke up shortly after Camden was born, he hasn't spoken to either of them since, and West is still a part of Camden's life. However, police are making him take a DNA test because he wants custody, temporary custody of the child, and so they just want to ensure that he really is the father, as he says. From what I've seen reported, West has been very active in Camden's life, and he also pays Layla child support very regularly, and he says very good things about Layla all over the media. He says that Layla was a great mother and that she would never intentionally leave her child. So now that we have all that background on Camden done, we're going to get back to the timeline. So as I said, this child was found wandering around by himself, and after his photo was posted, the family did identify him. However, Layla was nowhere to be found. His family stepped forward and said, Layla is his mother, and, this is who you should be looking for. And when they couldn't find her and they realized that the child had been alone for a while, they started to get concerned, and this became a missing persons case. Now, Camden is actually in the custody of Child Protective Services currently, and he's reported to be doing very well and has everything he needs, so that's good to hear. We also know that the family has a hearing in mid-August for custody because they do want custody of Camden. However, they have been granted visitation in the meantime and actually did a Zoom call on Tuesday with him and said that it was great to finally see him again. So although Camden is doing well and he's known to be safe, we still don't know the whereabouts of Layla and why he was left alone in this strange area. The search really went underway after they found him and they started looking for Layla right away. However, it didn't kick into high gear until July 29th when they found Layla's truck abandoned in a Walmart parking lot. So the car was found in the area of Hollywood Boulevard and US 441, and it's a 90s Chevy 3500 with a sticker in it that says baby on board. The last known sighting of Layla is on July 25th at Fort Lauderdale Beach in the company of a black male. This is about 30 minutes from where her son was found, so quite a distance. It kind of leads me to believe that she was traveling quite a bit in these past couple days. However, we don't know why and why she chose these particular locations. It seems kind of strange to me that she would go to all these places that she had never been before, according to her family, and that she would choose somewhere so far away to drop off her son. As for the man she was seen with at Fort Lauderdale Beach, her father has said that she was communicating with a man via Facebook and that this could be the same man that she was talking to. However, police are in the process of going through her messages, so whether or not they know his identity, they haven't released just to preserve the integrity of the investigation. Also, going back to this detail of a man that she was communicating with, a lot of people have pointed out in a photo that she posted to Facebook Marketplace, she took a screenshot of her screen when she was selling a particular pair of headphones. It seems like she just Googled a picture of the pair and took a screenshot on Google of her screen instead of taking a picture of the actual headphone she was selling, if that makes sense. And so you could see the other tabs that were up on her computer. And so in one of her tabs, or actually a couple of them, there were the names of sugar baby dating sites. So, this is very concerning if she was active on these sites. She could have met a man on those sites, and that's who she was seen with at Fort Lauderdale Beach, and that could be who she was going down to Florida to meet. It's, very concerning because there are a lot of predators on the internet, and maybe she just just didn't know that he was dangerous and he lured her down there with the promise of money or the promise of an extravagant trip, and unfortunately met with foul play. As for the location of her car, her family is very confused why it was found there in Hollywood, Florida, as apparently she has no friends down there and no family down there, and hadn't spoke to them on the 17th or the 23rd about any plans to go down there, and had never really even spoken about wanting to take a trip down there anytime recently. So they're very confused why, especially amid everything that's going on in this country, she would choose to take a trip right now. What's promising in this case is that detectives have actually come out and said that they have footage of Layla. However, they don't want to release it to possibly hinder the investigation. And this is where I'm thinking that they know that she was at Fort Lauderdale Beach with this man, because if they do have footage of this, then they can confirm that this was the last time she was ever seen. Also, after her car was found, the FBI have joined the Hollywood police in looking for her and aiding in her search, which I think is a great step in the right direction. Hopefully they can dig down some leads and go through her Facebook and hopefully find out who she was communicating with or why she chose to go down to Florida. This case is so tragic because it does involve a 2-year-old boy who's missing his mother. Her family is growing more and more worried by the day because they are insistent that Layla would never leave her son. They say that she was a great mother and loved her son, and from all of the stuff that I've seen her post on Facebook of him, it does really seem like she loves him a lot and really would never do this to him. So it really makes you think why her son was left in this particular place and where she could possibly be. I'm really glad that Ebony found Camden in the parking lot when she did. You know, you never know what could have happened if the wrong person could have come across him, because he was there by himself. And so I'm just so grateful that at least he's safe in this situation, and hopefully Layla will be found very soon. Unfortunately, where Layla went missing in South Florida is a very high crime area, and there have been a lot of bodies found recently. However, none of them have been identified to be Layla, so her family is still holding out to hope that she's out there somewhere. With so little solid evidence and really no timeline of what Layla was doing down in Florida, such as what time she got there, where she was staying, who she was meeting, it's really hard to speculate. However, I do lean towards the theory that she met with someone online on Facebook, as her dad said, and they unfortunately had bad intentions towards her. However, I do find the fact that Camden was found at this random apartment to be really strange, although it could just be a red herring meant to kind of get the trail off of this particular person. I think it's also a possibility, because Layla did sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace, that she was going down to Florida to sell something to them. However, you know, that hasn't been confirmed, and I feel like if she was in contact with someone on one of these public forums, that the police would have tracked this person down by now. But, you know, you never know. That's still definitely a possibility in this case. Now, I do feel the need to address this because I know if I don't, I'm going to get a bunch of comments. But yes, I am aware that a lot of people are spreading that they believe that because of her history with drugs, that she's on some sort of drug binge and purposely left her son. However, I think that that's horrible and victim blaming, and I don't think it's okay to speculate about someone's potential addiction when we really know nothing about them. It's very clear from what her family has said and from her photos on Facebook that she really loves Camden and that she wouldn't just leave him on her own free will. It's very clear that something horrible happened to her, and I feel like instead of victim blaming and pointing the finger at her, we really need to get down to the truth and hopefully find her safe. There has been a $5,000 reward put up for any information that leads to Layla, so I'm hoping this kind of sparks more interest in her case and hopefully leads to finding her. Like I said, this case is very hard to piece together, so I'd be very curious to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for new true crime videos every week. Thank you guys so much again. Bye!